Good afternoon, friends. Stephen Benoon here with Israeli News Live. I just wanted to do a real quick update for you and let you know that the insurrection happening in Russia, the Wagner group that came, the leader of the Wagner group there that has come against the Russian Federation in his coup attempt has come to an end. There was, from what we're seeing right now in some of the early reports there, it has been negotiated with Poroshenko, the president of Belarus, and negotiating that ceasefire agreement. But you know what's really odd about this whole thing is that I'm waiting to see how this is going to play out, because Putin agreeing to this ceasefire, and then is he going to end up just letting this guy walk after he's already made his statements that all those involved in this, Prigozhin, of course the owner of the Wagner group there, the military group there that does the fighting for Russia, is he just going to let him walk away with this? You know, we've talked about before how that Putin in 2024 would actually not come back into power. At least that's what we've been hearing several years ago, and that a more hardliner would be brought in order to battle NATO, because they will say that Putin was not being strict enough when it came to allowing NATO just to run the country over. So I kind of wonder too if the coup is not even a staged operation. Staged even to the point that does Putin know that it was staged? I was getting intel that the Germans were behind it in order to slow Russia down, because their fear of Russia striking them later in the summer or early in the fall there. But now it may very well end up being exactly that, though. Let's say Putin is not aware of the coup, and that this was, of course, is obviously Mr. Prigozhin. He was clearly planning this well in advance. He didn't just suddenly out of nowhere decide to go and launch an invasion on Russia with some 25,000 troops, really 25,000 troops, as it was reported on RT News. Did he really think he had a chance with 25,000 troops going up against Russia with no air support, no nothing? With his columns out there in an open fields there, marching on Moscow, and not think that the Russian military just couldn't come in there and wipe out the entire column and be done with them? Of course they could. So, this is just really, really foolish on his part. Even if he's trying to make a political statement, that's about the stupidest statement he could have ever made. And how dumb would the rest of the world believe just to fall for this in the first place? So, I mean, clearly NATO's hand is in behind this, whether it be not necessarily maybe NATO directly, but some of the members of NATO who have backed him financially or whatever, or the promises they made if he were to launch this attack against Russia. But now the Russian forces are just kind of seemingly allowing them to just back out. What, are they going to go back down to Ukraine and continue their battles down there? That's really odd, if you ask me. Very odd. And so, regardless of this ceasefire agreement, I am really curious to see what Russia's next move will be. Russia may really take this battle outside of the borders of Ukraine at this point now, especially once Russia determines who is backing the Wagner group to come in there and launch an attack on its own people. And clearly there were Russian, whether it be Russian military, Russian civilians that were killed in his insane attack on the Russian country. So we're going to kind of look at this and really take a step back and see what's going on. Also, too, over on our Patreon account, we'll put the link in the description below for you here. We just did a interesting video. Some of the intel I'd gotten from a former Navy SEAL about something that our government knows is coming, and that's a battle between reptilians and the Greys. I know that sounds about as wacko as it can possibly get, but I can assure you the sources that it comes from are not wackos. So we allegedly are about to be facing a battle here on the Earth, and I guess it's who's going to control this planet between the Greys and the reptilians, and they're anticipating that battle to be not so far in the not so distant future there. Also, we'd loaded up a couple of other videos, including an anthrax, going deeper into that anthrax false flag that is being planned. So, in fact, that'll be one of the reasons why they'll probably get away with convincing the American public that it was the Russians. They'll say the Russians did the anthrax in retaliation for the insurrection by the Wagner group. I can just see the handwriting already on the wall. I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and we'll continue. I'll be preparing, studying later this evening as well as we go into a teaching on either tonight or Sunday. So do keep us in your prayers as well. And if it's on your heart to want to support the work that we do, don't forget IsraeliNewsLive.org is our website. You can donate either by mail or online. Thank you.